Hi everyone, this is Joy and welcome back to my channel. This project for you today is for spellbinders and I'm using a product from the Trim the Tree collection, the Oh Christmas Tree, and I made a really pretty shaker card. Now here is the Oh Christmas Tree die. Here's all the components that you get. You have the two pieces for the tree, you have the ornaments, the star for on top, and then you have some more stars. I'm not going to use the stars. These are the pieces that I'm going to use, and I'm actually going to keep this tree all white, but I'm going to add a little something to give it some texture and make it kind of stand out differently. So I'm going to put those two pieces together and tape those in place. I'm just using some white cardstock and I'm going to run that through my die cut machine. Once I'm done with that, I'm also going to cut another full back piece with just that frame die. And here you can see is the front piece. And look at all the detail to that. I just love how this looks. So even if you did this in color, it would be gorgeous. But like I said, I am keeping it white. So then I'm going to cut the ornaments and the star. The two star pieces go together. I'm going to tape that down, and then the ornaments all from gold mirror cardstock. Because again, I'm keeping this design pretty simple. I'm doing white, gold, and blue. Just going to use my tool-in-one to pop those out. And then I have that front part of that tree, and I'm using some Versamark ink and just inking it up. I'm inking it up on a piece of scratch paper because that ink is going to get everywhere and I really don't want that on my glass mat. Then I'm coming in with Lawn Fawn's textured white embossing powder, and I'm just going to heat this until it's melted. This is going to melt chunky and look like snow, which is really what I was looking for, and I can tell you I love how it turned out. So it doesn't, I mean, it gets kind of shiny, but it really gets kind of chunky, so you have to pay attention so you don't like overcook it. So I'm going to adhere these two pieces together, see how that goes, and it's going to be so pretty. So I'm just going to use some liquid glue. I'm using the Barely Art liquid glue, just adding that to the back of the front piece. Then I'm just going to adhere that to my white background. So that white background again is just the tree frame. When you saw at the beginning the two parts to the tree, that's just the tree frame, but you need both parts to cut the front part, if that makes sense. Like I said before, if you use some colored cardstock, this tree would be gorgeous. I think even in blues, this would be really pretty. And of course in greens would be really gorgeous. So when I'm done with that, I'm going to get this tree decorated. Now I am using a sentiment from the mini Christmas sentiment strips. I already had this foiled and I used the Aura foil for this. And so that sentiment says, "Baby, it's cold outside," which is perfect for my snowy scene that I'm going to create. Now I'm adding the star to the top and all of the gold balls, which I really think this tree looks so pretty with this on. But you could also leave it just completely white and die cut a couple of these and put it on a scene, and that would be gorgeous as well. But I just felt like a little bit of gold would be really fun. So now that that's done, look at how pretty that looks, and you can see that embossing powder on there, and it's chunky and it looks like snow. I love how this tree turned out. Okay, so I am using the Nestabilities Essentials rectangles to make a frame for my shaker card. So I have the largest one and then the second largest one. I'm just going to tape that together on the same color white cardstock that I used for the tree. Run that through my die cut machine, and I don't need that centerpiece, I just need the frame. Then I'm going to trim out the other piece for the background. Now the colors that I'm using are Blueprint Sketch, which is here in the center. Then I'm going to use Chipped Sapphire and Black Soot for around the edges. I really want a dark nighttime snowy scene. That is the feel that I'm going for. And I realized that my Chipped Sapphire was kind of dry, and I went and looked to see if I had a refill, and I did not. So it would ink much better, blend much better if I had a juicier pad. So that is definitely a tip. Make sure your pads are juicy when you're trying to ink blend. But it ended up working out just fine, and I'm just going to use my blender brushes. These are from Tailored Expressions blender brushes, and I have a set for my Distress Oxide inks, and then I have a set for my dye inks. So I'm just going to keep blending this until it looks good, and right now I'm adding the Black Soot. That's going to give it that really dark night sky look. Now I'm going to put this in a box, and I'm coming in with my Shimmer Craft Spray in Sparkle, and I'm going to spray that over my background, which is going to give it a nice good shimmer. Then I'm going to come in with the Distress Spray Stain in Picket Fence. I'm just going to take the lid out and just tap it all over the background to give this really like a snowy look for the background. I'm going to put that aside to dry. And we are going to make the shaker part for the front of our card. So I have the frame there. I added some acetate to that, and then I'm just going to trim off the excess acetate. And then I'm going to add a double layer of foam tape around this inside edge of the frame. I'm going to be using the Distress Mica Flakes, so you actually don't need a ton of room, a thick piece for that, because it's not thick shaker pieces. But I really wanted to add a ton to it, and so that way it would have a lot of room. So I'm just taking my foam tape and folding it in half. I learned this forever ago from Christina Warner. I'm running my powder tool around the edges so my little shaker bits won't stick to my foam tape. I actually put it in the lid, and I didn't mean to. I meant to put it in the center of my card panel because this card panel is actually bigger than my frame. I was going to trim it down, but I actually liked the blue peeking around from the edges. But you can see how much of the mica flakes I put in there, and it's a ton, and it sits heavily at the bottom, which I love. Just adding some liquid glue behind the tree, and then I'm going to come in with some foam tape behind that sentiment. Again, it's from the mini Christmas sentiment strips. It's a glimmer plate, and I use the Aura foil on that. Add a little bit of foam tape in the center, and then a little bit of liquid glue on the end to adhere to that tree. And then we've got this beautiful shaker card. I adhered that to a white A2 size card base, but look at how pretty that snowy scene is. The dark blue night sky in the background, and then you've got this beautiful white tree with this beautiful white frame and a little bit of gold accent. I just love how this turned out. Again, this is the Oh Christmas Tree from the Trim the Tree collection. Thank you guys so very much for stopping by and watching. I hope that you enjoyed this project. If you like what you've seen, please subscribe to my channel, thumbs up, comment, and share. And I will see you guys soon. Bye.